Well, hi everyone, it's Pete here from the Pain Toolkit again, and yes, we're doing another Pain Toolkit Academy Q&A, and I've got a nice young lady with me tonight, Sharna Prasad over there in the United States of America. Is it Oregon, aren't you, Sharna?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, Oregon. Yeah.
Oregon. So thanks very much for giving me some time. Hey, listen, this past weekend we sort of connected because of the question of health literacy come up, like, and you replied to a post that I posted there on, I think it was on the Pain Toolkit Facebook page, and I said, I sort of connect. I said, well, listen, we need to talk about this a bit more, like, and because it's not a, the what it was. I saw a I'm getting ahead of myself here. I'll tell you what, I want to go wind it back a little bit. What's can you tell us where back what would I know you're a physical therapist, but can you sort of give the listeners and viewers an idea of what you do over there?
Absolutely. So I've been a physical therapist for 38 years. I went to school in PT school in India, and then I came to New York and did some graduate work. And then I did my doctoral recently in 2019. So I work primarily with complex chronic pain patients. Um, I have a lot of training. I'm a diplomat in lifestyle medicine, and I'm also trained in behavioral health, acceptance and commitment therapy. So those are my pillars. And the other one is self-compassion. I do a lot of work in self-compassion. But I treat primarily complex chronic pain patients.
Okay. So like the first question really is why is it that some healthcare professionals continue to produce pain self-management information still in medical terms, even when it's in written form or visual, audio, and that sort of stems from as I said earlier, the post that I put in there because I was watching some videos at the weekend on Instagram, and I followed a person, but the way they were describing what to do, it's uh, it's too technical. It's just like it's like they was talking to another physiotherapist, And then you replied to it, and then you kindly reminded me the the literacy age of people around the world is, I think you said sixth grade, and is that about 12 years old?
Yep, 11 to 12-year olds.
Mm.
So I think I can't say much about what people post or what other providers post,
Yeah.
but yes, you're absolutely right. The language we need to use. So my practice where I practice, I'm in rural Oregon, right? So most, I would say 95% of my patients have an education of high school or lower. So it becomes absolutely mandatory for me to lower my language to that level. And I came up to this from experience, but then I looked at the amount of research that is done in health literacy
Mm.
that is absolutely, we cannot be talking to our patients above that grade level. I don't even use big words, which becomes a problem because if I am presenting at medical conferences or anything like that, my language is still at a sixth grade level or lower. So, but that's okay. I don't care anymore. I really don't, because every medical conference has patients. And to me, I have to meet the denominator. If I'm looking at the crowd and saying, am I talking to 10 and 10 to 12-year olds? That's my communication that needs to be. It's very important for me.
I know another self-manager like myself, a lady called Anne. She also made a comment that because I it's what I said. I was watching a video, but she said it's the written material is still too medical like, so really it's I mean it's really a bit of a shout out really to healthcare professionals, not to sort of, I want to say dumb it down, but be more. mindful of, who.
It's not dumbing it down. It's simplifying.
Yeah,
So dumbing it down is it messes with the whole process. Like you're changing the context. But if you are able to simplify it, then it becomes a very
yeah,
it's a whole different ball game, right?
yeah.
And that's what I like. The like, can we take all this knowledge that we have gathered over the years and all this learning we've done and simplify it to actionable items? So I can I just share a little bit about my work that I've been doing in the last 6 years.
Sure,
um
go for
so
it.
so I've created a company called Solace. It's spelled SOL4CE. So it's soul force. So you're activating the soul's force, is what it is. But we've created a curriculum, an online curriculum on the pillars of lifestyle medicine, self management, behavioral health, movement, and self compassion and pain science. And we've taken that whole, all these big pillars of knowledge and smoothed it into very simple, actionable items. The whole video, the complete curriculum is 3 hours. And then it can be facilitated by peers, it can be facilitated by physicians, it can be facilitated by physical therapists. So that is what we're working on right now.
Okay,
So one track is healthcare, the other track is community health.
okay. So we're well done for doing that. So there's so many people around the world living with persistent pain, and there aren't enough, I call pain coaches like yourself, with people working in pain self-management to support people like myself, really. Like, so, well done for doing that. Can I just move on to the next question? Was
Absolutely.
can you describe the most common misconceptions patients have about pain and self-management?
Absolutely. I think the biggest one from the pain science space is that pain is tissue damage. That is a very big concept that is stuck, because if you look from the physiology world, like if you break a bone, you break your femur, right? The biggest bone in the body, it takes 8 to 12 weeks for that bone to heal. So the tissue heals, but the pain persists. So that is the key concept, key misconception, that tissue damage is pain.
Mm.
And we that is the biggest unfolding that needs to happen when we talk about pain. The second one is that I will always be in pain. And then the third one is there's no hope. And that I think hurts me the most, is the fact that people with chronic pain feel like there is no hope. There's that hopelessness feeling.
Mm.
But the answer lies in the term. When we use the word pain management, right? Or self-management, even that word, what we're saying, I like to replace that word management to mastery. It's pain mastery. You understand pain so well that you understand that, oh, wait, yes, I have chronic pain. And yes, there is a lot of other things I can do in my life while I am taking this pain along with me. And over time, that does get better to some extent. I mean, I see this from a point of compassion, because I personally had a lot of chronic pain, severe low back pain for 2 years. So, and that is what my story was. That is what took me to the pain science world and kind of dumped everything I knew in physical therapy. So I think I would switch that word from pain management to pain mastery, and even self management to self mastery. Like I don't I'll give my patients a list of the health lifestyle medicine pillars, which is sleep, physical activity, nutrition, social connections, stress management, or reduction in substances. I'll show them that piece of paper and say, which pillar do you believe is going to help you the most
Mm.
at this stage of your life? And then they get to pick where which area they would like to discuss.
Yeah. Get them back in the driving seat, as I say.
Yeah.
Get people back in the driving seat. Thanks for that.
Yes.
I think as I've said before, really, the misconceptions is that I think sometimes we get anchored into the medical model so much that we sort of may be quite a bit of reluctance to thinking, well, I'm not really sure about this, self-mastery or self-management, and um, well, I'm coping, and I will say to people, coping ain't going to really get you far, but learning how to get yourself
Yeah.
back in the driving seat. It's about getting looking at things, things that you get back to what you used to do, or start doing some new stuff, like. And I think it's having that, giving them people that confidence to get their confidence back, from going a can't do person to becoming a can do person again.
Yeah. And one thing I do is when people say that I wish I used to be able to do this and I used to be able to do that. I said when you're walking forward, if you constantly look behind you and walk, you're going to keep bumping into things.
Yeah, yeah,
So in order for you to really get to where you need to be in the present moment and see where you're going because this is where
yeah,
you are today.
yeah,
Accept yourself where
yeah.
you are and how can you make a tiny change, even if it's a small change. And what is it that's
Yeah.
important to you? You
I
know?
totally
Yeah.
agree. Oh, we're doing really, really well here. What advice would you give a fellow healthcare professional who is new to the concept of self-management? What advice would you give them?
So the first thing I would say is um, your patient's pain is real. For crying out loud, nobody wants to come and see a healthcare provider because they are faking their pain. So can we just get that out of our heads that that our patients are ever faking their pain? I don't care. That needs to be just compassion needs to be held for our patients that they are suffering and their suffering is real and how can we give them space so let's not minimize their pain and believe them that would be my first go-to. The second one I would help them say is stop using the word what is causing my pain. So there's a big flaw in that word because the moment you say what is causing my pain, we're looking for a structure that is causing the pain. And yes, that is good with acute care, like the example we used of a broken hip, right? I mean, a broken femur. That's okay. Or if you sprained your ankle in an acute way, that's okay. But after that, it becomes contributors. There is your thoughts that are contributing to it, your emotions that are contributing to it, the social environment, the political environment, everything
Mm.
is contributing to that pain experience, right? It's like a weighing scale. On one side is dangers in our life, the other side is the safeties or the skills we have learned over time, like we talk about self-management. So that would be my second big one. And the third one is there's neuroplasticity. So new neurons are being formed and your brain can change. That you don't have to live with this for the rest of your life. And I have one more, and that is providers need to do self care themselves. They need to practice self care before they offer service. So, my mantra is self care before service because we know from research if a provider does not do strength training, they will not recommend strength training to their patients. If they're smokers, they will not counsel on smoking with their patients. So the providers have to practice, and I'm going to pause on that word, practice what they preach and really really embody this whole knowledge because you can't really go advising people on things when you're not practicing it yourself.
Role modeling, as we call it in self-management land,
What do you call it?
role
What do you call
modeling.
it?
You have to role
Role
model.
modeling. Exactly, exactly.
You can't. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I stretch and exercise every day, because if I was to walk into a room or back in the day when I used to do face-to-face workshops or stuff like that. And I was, struggling, I mean, what hope does that give people like? So
Yeah.
I have to practice what I preach. That's why I get up early in the morning and so I do my yoga in the morning and stretching and stuff like that. And I go to the gym and do my weight stuff down there. And for me, it's at the beginning it was a bit of a chore. I said, oh no, not again. But now it's just like brushing my teeth. Like it's become a daily routine. It's not a problem. I enjoy now. And I enjoy moving around and doing stuff, and that gives me, and that's the reason why I like to be a self manager because it gives me the freedom to do what I want to do. Like do I live with pain still? Yeah, still, of course I do. Like but I don't have to take any medication. All the while I keep active, practice what I preach. I'm a role modeling and stuff like that. Then I can get on with my life. So yeah.
Good for you, Pete. Good for you for having taken that ownership of your pain and having done
Uh,
all the work
I
you've
think it is a
done,
bit
you
that
know?
it's I think I was talking to Dave earlier on who I work with on the academy and he was saying about it becoming it's like a routine really like and taking in
Mhm.
things in small steps and I think people are self-managing already but they don't
Yeah,
know
it's an habit.
but they don't
It's
know
an
they are like. They're,
hmm
and the thing is well, see, this term, so you picked up on it. See, the self-management. No, it's nothing personal, but that's American sort of term. Like back in the day when I first started off, it was just called pain management or self-care. But
hmm
then the self-management word crept
Sure,
over
sure.
from the States, and everybody's
hmm
going, "Well, what's that?" And but now we've had to add another word to it. I think the Canadians did it. They added the word supportive because when you're saying to someone to self-manage, they thought they're being shoved away. Well, go and sort yourself out. So they added a word supportive self-management so that they're it's about being supportive. You work in other
Sure.
words, working with working with a healthcare professional and have a little team
Absolutely.
around you, etc. Because
hmm
I've very rarely met people that sort of fixed it, sorted themselves out on their own but they need that little bit of encouragement,
hmm
bit of guidance. Think if you're learning to drive, when most
hmm
people who learn to drive, they need to
hmm
sit beside a driving instructor.
hmm
And then the instructor's there to explain to them this is how it works. These are things we need to look out for. This is how the car works, etc. Look
hmm
out for hazards and read the road ahead and prepare the car for moving and stopping and whatnot. So they need
hmm
that little bit of a guidance.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody needs support.
Yeah,
When we are hurting, when we are in pain, we can't do it by ourselves. We need,
yeah, yeah,
the key words I like to use are we need a community. We need a
yeah,
community
yeah,
to heal. Communities heal. You don't
yeah.
heal in isolation.
No, no,
You
no,
heal in communities,
yeah,
and you need to be connected. You need to feel
yeah,
you are connected. You're not isolated in this space. And the last is collaboration, and like you and I, we all need to collaborate. We can't all survive in our own
no,
spaces,
no, yeah,
if you're not
yeah,
collaborating, because the
yeah.
Spain world is kind of small, and
Well,
there's you
in,
know
in our world, it's very small. I would think,
yes,
um, in terms of the healthcare generally worldwide, and we're such a tiny family, so, but, we have to support each other, etc.
absolutely. And that's, I mean, pain, we're paying so much money in pain, right? There's so much money
Billions,
going in pain.
trillions,
And trillions, and
trillions.
here we are, a small community that
Yeah,
truly have become nerds in the Spain world,
yeah,
and
yeah,
want to help our people.
yeah.
So yes,
I,
that's you're
yeah.
absolutely right.
I like to think we're assets, not irritants. Hey, listen. I asked this question to someone the other day, and I really liked it because it's a bit quirky, really, and it's so imagine you're hosting. You could host a dinner party with three prominent figures in healthcare. Who would you invite, and what would you discuss regarding self-management?
So I that was a very interesting question, and I thought I found that very, very interesting to think about it. So the three people I would like one is Stephen Hayes. Stephen Hayes is the founder of ACT, Acceptance and Commitment Therapy, and he's a philosopher, and he's kind of a very broad thinker, and he's all over the place. And I love that man. And I would love to have him on my dining table. That I would love what I would make for him or what I would cook for this dinner. I don't know, but because of his system thinking and broad thinking, I love that man. And one of the things he embodied in me is the core yearnings. There are six core yearnings for humans to survive, and one is a sense of belonging,
Yeah,
um, a need to understand and be understood, a need to be able to express all emotions, good, bad, and ugly, um, orientation, our orientation of our body and being in this space, and living on purpose, and the last one is competence, that we all need a level of competence. So when we're talking about self-management or self-mastery, we are giving them the level of competence,
mm,
like what you were talking about when you are walking or you're doing your exercises. Yes, you may be able to do just one or two of them. So how do we give them that level of competence that you got these two? And if you want to stack another exercise, that's fine. But right now, it's these two that you're competent in. So I love that man for that. And then the other person I would like is her name is Nadine Burke Harris. I don't know if you know her, but
no,
she's very famous in the US. She's got a TED Talk worth listening to. So Nadine Burke Harris is a MD pediatrician, and she's a master's in public health, and she talks about the impact, the trauma informed care, and how trauma impacts the health of children. In her case, the stories she has written in her book is so well written, but it's also not just what's happened to the parents, but it's also the grandparents. So that epigenetic
mm,
transfer of trauma is very, very key. So anyway, I love that woman, and I have so much respect for the work she's done. She was the Surgeon General of in California. So anyway, she's my second choice. And the third choice would be I would bring in uh, Peter O'Sullivan. Peter O'Sullivan is my PT. You might know him.
yeah, yeah,
He's
no,
my
good buddy.
PT. Yeah, a PT guru. I call him a guru. Guru is a the Western world has messed up that word guru, but the word guru is the person who removes the darkness of ignorance. And so to me, he has removed a lot of ignorance around pain for me, and just given me a lot of very cool advice. So
Yeah, I know. I
those are
think
my
I
three
saw him
people.
last year at the IS conference in Amsterdam, and I think he's just got round to it's all launched now. He started a new program over there in Australia, and so hopefully it's all going well, etc. But yeah, I've got a lot of time for Pete. He's one of the good guys in our family.
Yes, he is. And I love the amount of work he has put in and published
Yeah.
and all that.
Yeah. And he's
His,
I know a good friend of mine, Joletta Belton. I think
yeah, Joletta Bolton. Yeah.
he met her and helped her out a lot. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've got a lot of time for Pete. He's a good guy, one of
Yeah.
the good dudes. There's a lot of good.
S-
Hey, listen, I think we've got a lot of good people out there. I wish we could
we
all
sure do.
work together a lot more closely if we could, but it's the idea behind these question and answer things. Really, I think they like we're coming to the end now, but just short and sharp stuff, and perhaps you can come back another time and to do some more questions that people send in.
Absolutely, Pete. Yeah, you can reach me on my website. It's
I've got
solace. gmail.com. Sorry.
Okay. No, so I got yeah, got that. I'll put that in the when I'll upload this
Okay.
to YouTube. And hey, listen, thanks very much for your time. I think it's
Absolutely, Pete. It was my pleasure.
lunch. I think it's your lunchtime. Your
Yeah, sort of, kind of getting there. Yeah.
it's your lunchtime, my bedtime.
Your bedtime. Yes, you must be tired.
I need
Um,
some. I need some beauty sleep.
you need some what?
Beauty sleep.
Okay, beauty sleep, of course. Of course. Well, Pete, thank you. I'm glad this worked out. I will talk to you later.
Okay, take care. Take
Yeah,
care.
you too.
Have
Bye
a nice
bye.
evening. Ciao.